Okay, hi Lindsay, I'm back. I'm just finishing going over your exam one, my review of your exam one, and trying to hopefully get you to use this for when you're studying for the final too, hopefully. Just make sure you have everything down that you missed here. Okay, so let's see, 26 is where we're starting. All right, so 26, if we want to find the zeros here, right, it says use the given function to complete parts A through D. So you got A correct. You got the x-intercepts, which are the same thing as the zeros, correct? Okay, now which zeros does the graph of the function cross the x-axis? The problem is this x equals 0 has a multiplicity of 2. Okay, you included that as having only a multiplicity of 1, which means it would cross the x-axis. But notice that x squared, this 2 here, means that x equals 0 has a multiplicity of 2. So it would not cross the x-axis at x equals 0, which down here then, you should say that at x equals 0 is where it grabs the x-axis and turn around. It's because it has a multiplicity of 2. So really that's all you missed there. Went from a score of 0.71 to a score of 0.85, but that's a kind of a key point there, so make sure you understand that. All right, let's see, 27. 27 was long division. You really had the process down right. You should have put a placeholder in here. You should have wrote this as 2x squared plus 0x plus 1, but I could see that you were keeping that along as you went along. You just had some algebraic errors here. So just take a look at it, maybe work that problem again and make sure. And then this last piece is the remainder. You can't forget to include the remainder. You had minus 9x plus 1, but it's really minus 5x plus 1. And I walked you through that. So take a look at that, make sure you got it. And you were off a little bit on this too because of your plus 1 up here. So you have to be careful. Make sure you look at those things. You had plus 1 there. But it really, you had the procedure down. So just take a look at it. I increased your score from 0 to 0.67. In 28, this is another situation where you really had it down. You just forgetting, in this case, you do everything right with the synthetic division problem. You just forget to include the remainder term. The remainder term is this 168, so you write it as 168 over the original divisor x minus 2. So you just didn't include that, right? You had every piece right, you just didn't include the remainder term. So it went from a score of 0 to a score of 0.9. And on 29, you didn't put in an answer, right? If I remember right. Yeah, you didn't put in an answer, but you had the right answer. You went through all the work. You actually have all the work. I found this error in here, but then I didn't notice that when I was finding that, oh, so I wrote this and increased it to 0.85 because I found errors, but then I said, oh, you redid it. You actually redid it. You found the right answer. So I just increased your score all the way to 1 on that. And then problem 30, we have, what's 30? Did you have 30? Any work for 30? No. Oh, right here. You didn't have any work for 30. I really couldn't increase your score, and it's that darn Descartes rule of sign again. So, which I know you're still not comfortable with, but I don't know if you kind of guessed here or what. You didn't show the work, like you saw a lot of 0 and then 3 and 1 answers, but you reversed them. And without showing me the work of what you were doing, I don't know if you understand Descartes' rule of sign, so I can't really increase that. Now, again, Descartes' rule of sign. You look at the function itself. Are there any sign changes? S-I-G-N, sign changes. So that goes from positive to positive to positive to positive. So there's no sign changes. When there's 0 sign changes, that means there can be 0 positive real roots. Then you look at f of minus x, plug in minus x everywhere you see an x, and then simplify it. So you get minus x cubed plus 5x squared minus 8x plus 1. So I'll go from negative to positive, from minus x cubed to positive 5x squared, so that's a 1 sign change. From positive 5x squared to minus 8x, that's another sign change, that's 2 of them. From minus 8x to positive 1, that's another sign change. So there's 3 sign changes. Now, that means there can either be 3 negative real roots, or subtract 2, in case you have 2 imaginary, subtract 2, or 1 negative real root. So that's how that works with Descartes' rule of signs. Okay, and again, just to remind you, your score then on the exam is 86.57, very solid, strong B, almost B plus on the exam. And you have an 85.53, which is a solid B, getting up towards the B plus for the course as well. So you're doing good, Lindsey. Keep up the good work, and hopefully we'll talk soon.